And hello, I'm back already. There you go. Didn't have to wait very long, did ya? Let me get the chat out here as well, and turn it off again. Just 1 second. There you go. But yeah, a lot of transfer news actually. Of course, I was out for a while. I said out for a while. It's like I'm injured, bruv. Like I'm out in the battlefield or something. 1 second. Oops, wrong thing. There we go. Big up to sample user. This is the best live stream. Like and subscribe because we are back. Photo, last exam, and then we're flying. Hit the likes and subscribe. It does help out a lot. If you're not subscribed already, do be subscribing. It generally helps out a bunch. Anyhow, oh yeah. If you want to see this, I'm doing a stream with Bevo. Big up to Bevo. When I get to 1k subscribers, and I will beat him. And I'll remind him of this bet. And if I don't beat him, I will not remind him of this bet. But if he remembers, I am a man of my word, of course. Like, what else can I say? Anyhow, let's get into the transfer review. Okay, over here. Oh, right. No. Not this. I've built that up every stream already. I don't need to do that again. So, weird thing to say, but this has been circling around again on the internet. I mean, it's true, but I mean, who cares? I mean, if you're a rival fan and you're expecting me to care, bro, we do not care. If you're a rival fan, reposting this shit constantly, we do not care. That's about all I can say about that. We do not care. Okay, let's get into transfers. Hello there, there are some transfer news to talk about. And some other news, I suppose, if you want to be more of the hopeful kind. Now, let's start off with this. Bernardo Silva is set to stay at Man City this summer. Hello, big up to him. HAALAND, captain. Random. How is that random? He's your best player. He's very experienced. You're building the team around him. And he has been captain already. Ruben Diaz is a shite captain, but Anis Haji Musa was spot on Van Aken met spot on vakantie with a PSV shirt. Big up to him. Yeah, Ruben Diaz, yeah, because let me just pull this out. Where is it? I opened it. So this is our 4-man captaincy group. Bernardo Silva, Ruben Diaz, Rodri, Erling Haaland. Now, Rodri blatantly doesn't want to be captain. Bernardo Silva is fucking washed. And Ruben Diaz has a terrible attitude captain. Like this is, I will compare, yeah, to Kyle Walker. Before Kyle Walker became captain, because let's not do this revisionism, yeah? When Kyle Walker became captain, everyone was like, great captain. Just because you're popular in the dressing room doesn't make you a captain. No, he doesn't want to be captain, and he's just back from an ACL. And he doesn't want to be captain. So you can make him captain, but he doesn't want to be. So when someone doesn't want to be captain, it's the same thing with De Bruyne. De Bruyne did not want to be captain. You can't make these players captain when they don't want them to be captain and then be surprised that they're bad captains. Like, you know what I'm saying? But when you're popular in the dressing room, yeah, you're not always a good captain. You need to look at the interview. Ruben Diaz is pissing people off constantly with his interview. And let's not do victim complex here, because Bernardo Silva, who gets way more hate than Ruben Diaz, is doing interviews, and people are backing Silva when he does these interviews. This is the thing here. When you are captain, you are responsible for every player at the club needs you. You are going to be doing interviews. You are the face of the club. Ruben Diaz has been bad last season. Very bad. Was not that great in the 4-beat season either. He has struggled with injury in the last few seasons, coming in and out of injuries. When he was initially captain for a few games, we lost most of those games. We lost a lot of games, to be fair to see. I can't just blame that on Ruben Diaz, but just because you're a good player and because you're experienced does make you a good captain. Erling Haaland is more of a leader than Ruben Diaz. But also, tactically speaking, Erling Haaland is more important than Ruben Diaz. How is Ruben Diaz going to instill authority into Haaland when Haaland looks at him and says, if I want you out of the club, I go to Caldoon and I say, hey, I don't want to play with Diaz anymore, and the next day you'll be gone. Because that's the type of power Haaland has. He's here on a 10-year contract. Anyone Haaland doesn't want to play with will not play at Man City. It's that simple. Now, Haaland won't do that because he's a great guy and everything. But that's the power Haaland has. He is our best player. He is a captain. We've seen him captain us before to decent level. I don't see why Ruben Diaz is this favorite captain for half the fan base when the other half of the fan base can't stand him every time he does an interview. If you think Kyle Walker was a bad captaincy, Ruben Diaz will be the exact same. Pisses people off whenever he's doing interviews. And you're a captain, you have to do interviews. Like, I've not got anything against Ruben Diaz, but you can't have this guy be your captain and he pisses the fan base off every time he does an interview. Like, you just can't do that. Hopefully, you get to 1K subscribers, bro. Thank you. We will beat it at some point. I'm guessing you've not watched Diaz in the changing room. I'm guessing you've not watched Kyle Walker in the changing room. How was Kyle Walker? Let's not do revisionism here. How was Kyle Walker before he became captain? Being popular in the dressing room when you're not captain is one thing. Being that when you are captain, that's something completely different. He's only done one bad interview. No, he's not. The interview after Southampton was terrible. The interview he talked about the season where he struggled with injuries and stuff was terrible. He's done 2 bad interviews, and that's the only 2 interviews he's done. That I know of. Maybe he's done some seasons interviews, I don't know. But the only 2 interviews I know of, both of them were bad. So, no, I disagree. That interview where he talked about injuries was after the FA Cup final, I believe. Correct me if I'm mistaken there. But no, you can't have people who have terrible mentality making excuses in front of the media be your big guy captain, in my opinion. My point is, I want someone to be captain who has the balls to go to the media and say this is shit. Bernardo Silva does that. Well, not in that language, of course. Erling Haaland does that. Ruben Diaz makes excuses. That is not what we want to see, in my opinion, from a captain. We don't want the captain to be making excuses. Because when things go south, those excuses, what do they become in the dressing room? What type of mentality do you project as captain when you're giving excuses every time you lose? 2 out of 2 is very bad, though. And every club captain says stupid stuff because they are captain for a lot of because they are captain and they're doing interviews every day. But maybe not every day, but like every week, every match day. So when you're doing interviews every match day, it's gonna be a lot worse. And Erling Haaland's interviews, I know they were a meme before they got to Man City, but of course his English was terrible as well. But Erling Haaland's interview, he does a lot of them. And he does them well. And people like Haaland's interview. When people listen to Haaland's interviews, they say class act, and the rivals hate him, by the way, which is even better. So And also, Haaland is a City fan, which it's maybe a minor difference from Ruben Diaz. So that also helps Haaland, because he's a boyhood blue. And again, Haaland is one we're building the team around, not Ruben Diaz. Anyhow, that's captain talk done for now. Let's talk about Bernardo Silva. Better interviews than Carl Walker, in my opinion, but also great in the dressing room as well. I mean, maybe he should be captain. Anyhow, Bernardo Silva is set to stay at Man City. I mean, I don't want... I don't want these players to be just perpetually staying at Man City, and like, because Pep Guardiola will play them. Like, no matter how you go about it, Pep Guardiola will play them. Bernardo Silva, yeah. I said he was washed in a video in the summer of 2024. I mean, it was not difficult to see. He was just not what he used to be. He got output, but other than that, he was not what he used to be. And he's just declining. And he's gonna have another season of decline. And I know he's only 31, but not every player is the same. He's run so much. Even last season, he's just run into the ground. So, Bernardo Silva, I know it's difficult to sell these players. And I know that this is not the greatest swords ever. FPL main road. Like, it's not a terrible swords, but like... they do tend to get quite a bit wrong, don't they? My thing is... first of all, never take a FPL account's words at face value. They're FPL accounts, they're not real journalists. But second of all... Bernardo Silva, if he stays, he will not be better than he was this season. And he will play. Now, who is he playing ahead of? Phil Foden? No. Sherky? No. Marmoush? No. Leinders? No. Nico Gonzalez, God forbid. I mean, this is the place we're looking at for Bernardo Silva to stay. Pep Guardiola will play this guy, so who is he benching? I guess you can bench Phil Foden then if you're fine with that. I would much rather Phil Foden play and Phil Foden come back into shape, but I'm really just... I just want these old players to move on, because we can't do this with De Bruyne, yeah? And we're like... yep. Out you go. None of your own fault. You're still providing us with big moments and stuff, but out you go. Because we fucked up. And then we go to Bernardo Silva and we're like, can't sell this guy. Let's keep him. How much years does Bernardo have on his contract, by the way? Bernardo Silva. I believe it's until 2026. Yes. So it does expire next year, but, I mean, there you go. That's not the player, yeah. That's... you've wasted money on again. And... wait, not money... great transfer, I'm not saying that, but like... wasted money in wages for another year. Because you can't sell him. Even if... we can't sell him for a single penny. Even if you have to give him away on a free. It's still a lot of wages we take off our books. So for me, Bernardo has to leave. He just has to leave. Same with all the old players. They have to leave for rebuild purposes. Which gets me to another old player. Ilkay Gundogan. Currently no negotiations taking place. And the matter has not progressed at this stage. The midfielder is fully focused on the FIFA Club World Cup. Now that means nothing. And I'll tell you why. Because people will say this means Gundo will say. I don't think so. I'll tell you why this doesn't matter. Most clubs are not in the Club World Cup. Galatasaray is not. So yeah, they can sign players on a free. Like free agents. But they're not going to be completing deals for players playing in the Club World Cup. They're going to wait for the Gundogan to come back. And then in July, they will try to go for Gundogan. And then we'll see how everything goes. So for me, this is not news of anything. Do I think he's going to Galatasaray? I'm not sure. I'll give it a 50-50% chance. This means nothing. Yeah, of course they're gonna wait for the Club World Cup to pass. He's playing in it. They're not gonna go to this guy while he's playing a tournament and say, do you want to come to Turkey? We've got this bro. They've got 2 months. They've got 2 months of time. Like, they've got more than that. Because transfer windows go into September nowadays. They've got more than 2 months of time. Right? They could focus on other deals, by the way, while Gundogan is at the Club World Cup. To get everything over the line. Then when Gundo is back, they can go to him and say, do you want to come to Galatasaray? It's a deal. And then go to Man City. Makes complete sense in my opinion. So this means nothing. This just means nothing. This is both. I mean, you can see like Plettenberg, Florian Plettenberg, what's his name, Fabrizio Romano. Sometimes they just tweet stuff that everybody kind of knows, just to get the clicks and stuff in it. I think that's what that is. City Extra here. I don't know how true this is, but Man City are the 5th most followed club in the world with 180 million, pretty much, followers combined across the main social media platform. Now, I don't even know what that means. But, like, does that count? Man City Spanish, because it's like the main platform of Spanish Man City. Or does that not count? Does that count, like, every social media platform? Like, Man City has a Twitter, they have a YouTube, they have a, I don't know, Instagram, probably. So they've got a lot of different platforms. I don't know what we're counting here. I find it difficult to believe they're above Arsenal, to be honest. And not to say Arsenal is great and everything, but if we just go to Man City quickly. Excuse me. If we just quickly go to Man City. I mean, Man City is followed by 18 million people, and Arsenal, I checked this earlier, has 22.6 million. So I struggle to believe this. I'm not quite sure what this is about. If someone knows more about this, more about the effects, or like what they're counting exactly, please do tell. Because I do struggle to believe this. Great if it's true, but I struggle to believe it. Anyhow, on to the last thing for today. We've not been live for too long, but that's fine. That's fine. Eddie Howe has communicated absolutely wants to keep Tino Livramento. The player has shown no desire to leave Newcastle, and Man City do not want to get involved in a summer-long saga. So this is from this guy. I've seen some stuff of him, but I'm not sure how reliable he... I mean... That tells you all you need to know. Newcastle fan. So, the reason I say that, yeah, it's not to slant Newcastle, but personal opinion. Newcastle fans are very delusional. Newcastle fans will argue with you that Isak is better than Haaland. And I don't make that up. I was watching a stream of Martin a while ago. 2 Newcastle fans, I won't say famous, but like, no Newcastle fans went on and they argued Alexander Isak is better than Haaland. Like, this is the level of delusion these Newcastle fans have. So, just take everything a Newcastle fan says with a pinch of salt. I don't know if it's true that Livramento has said he has no desire to leave. Like, I mean, the player has shown no desire to leave. So what does that mean? Has the player not publicly said he wants to leave? I mean, of course he hasn't. Oh, of course he hasn't. That doesn't mean he has... That does mean if Man City goes in for him, he will say no. So, Tino Livramento. Here is my honest opinion on Livramento. A great right back. Homegrown. We need homegrown players. We need at least 2 or 3 more of them. Or otherwise, I know people don't care about the homegrown rule, but the club does. Because if we don't have enough homegrown players, they're not allowed to play in the Premier League next season. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, who cares about homegrown? The Premier League cares. There's rules about it. So we need homegrown players. He is homegrown. He's a great right back. He's just incredibly. He's like everything that Pep wants from a right back. He's technically gifted. He's defensively solid. He's not Carl Walker quick, but he's quick. He's intelligent. He's good in a high line. He can invert. He can do everything Pep wants from his right backs. Now, you have your rested defense. So, 1 second. Let me show you, yeah, in lineup builder. If you have your rested defense, so rested defense means players who are defending when you're attacking. So that's like your centre backs who stay back. So you have Guardiola, yeah? Guardiola probably centre back next season. Diaz most likely. And ahead of this will be, in a completely fit side, Rodri and Reinders. But I think Nico Gonzalez will play quite a bit in the first half of the season. Because Rodri will need time to get back to his best. Rodri will play, but like, not every week, I think. No, he won't start every week. So let's just go with this for your rest defense. You've got this stuff here. And now you add Livramento into that. The problem we've had this season, yeah? One of the problems we've had this season. And I'm not making this up. I am taking this from interviews that Pep Guardiola has had. He has said, in an interview, Pep Guardiola, word for word, we used to think that when the ball is far away from our goal, we were safe. This season, that was not true. Why was that not true? Again, I'm not saying that this from my own thing. I'm saying what Pep is saying. Pep says this problem was we were too high up the pitch and our rest defense, these 5 players, weren't capable of defending when we lost the ball. Not me saying this, Pep, because I know for a fact someone out there will say, oh, who's this tactical? Pep Guardiola's words. So what does this look like? This season, Guardiola has pushed up incredibly high. And whoever we had left back as well, like Guardiola usually was the left back. And then we had 2 centre backs staying back. And we would push up 1 midfielder. And then our rest defense was 3 players. Instead of a solid 5 players, which it usually is. Which means you're countered a lot more easily. And the solution to that, if I can select Nico here, there you go. Solution to that, it's very simple. You go back to the system that worked before. You get this back 3, you get something solid in there, and you go play your football. But Rangers likes to push up. So now you have this rest defense of 4. But here's the problem. What Pep Guardiola wants is the ball to go through the wide area. Because when the ball goes down the wide area, it means you're a lot more difficult to score quickly. Because if you go down the middle, think about it this way. What is the fastest way to score a goal? Let me open a tactical ball. The fastest way is just to run down the middle. That's the fastest, right? So what we want to avoid is teams running down the middle and just scoring against us. We want to get them out wide. That has always been how Pep Guardiola defends. How Pep Guardiola defends is ball goes wide and you get back in shape. As quickly as possible, you get back in shape. Because if the ball just goes like this, you can't get back in shape. It's too late. So what you need when your extra midfielder pushes up is to keep the central area tight. If you have 1 midfielder, they can run through your middle. So you need someone to go into midfield and keep that tight while keeping 2 central defenders. This is again not optimal. This is a lot better in my opinion than having this. And my reason is, yeah, if you have this back 3, you're just going to get run through the middle. And again, what's faster? Running through the middle or going down the wing, going up the wing, and then trying to go into the middle? It's running down the middle. That's faster. So you want to get these teams out wide and force them to take as much time as possible, slow them down, so everyone can get back in position and you can defend. And once more, because I know someone will say, oh, tactical bullshit, Pep's words. I'm just repeating what I remembered from a Pep Guardiola interview recently. So the reason why I want Livramento so desperately is because he can do all of this stuff. There's a reason why Pep loves this guy. Pep loves this guy for that reason. It's because he can do everything I just talked about. I don't know another right back who can do everything that Livramento can on the level that Livramento can. And I'm not just talking about Premier League, I'm talking about the world. Tell me a right back that can defend assaultly in a high line when you have a 5-man press defense, that can invert as comfortably, and that can sit as comfortably in a back four when you're deep in defending. I don't know one. So is he attacking-wise good? No, he's settable. But he doesn't have to be good attacking, because he's never going to attack. He's going to be sitting back. He's going to be sitting back most of the time. Kyle Walker was settable at attacking, but nobody cared, because he was just that good defensively. And on top of that, he's homegrown, and we need homegrown. So for anyone who thinks shit that Livramento is not worth the money, I want to know why. I want to know how much money, like if you would go buy Livramento, let's just say you would do it. How much money would you spend on Livramento? You tell me, because I would honestly spend as high as £90 million on this guy. That is how highly I rate him. £70 million, 20 million English tax, because homegrown rule. So that's how much I'm willing to pay for this type of player. If you're not willing to pay that money, I understand it, because that's a lot of money, but why not? We've already got our midfield fixed. We've got Cherki in that midfield. We've got Reinders in that midfield. Nico Gonzalez, Goldry, Foden, Bob if he goes into midfield, depends on where he goes. Foden, not sure if I said that. We've got a very solid midfield. Don't need to buy any more midfield. Not starting midfield, at least. We've got like 7 centre backs at the club. Now I know Yuma Bao will be going on loan. Like that's still 6 centre backs at the club. So we're not in a rush to get a new centre back. We've got our left backs sorted. We've got an attack consisting of Marmoush, Erling Haaland, Savio, Doku, Cherki if you consider him a winger or midfielder. Again, depends on how you consider this guy. We've got a very stacked defense. The only blind spot in Man City is right back. So why not go put in the cash for that right back? We need a right back. It's that simple. Goalkeeper. Can we go get a new goalkeeper? Sure. We have spent £100 million so far. I believe it's £121 million. Let's say £121 million. Let's say £121 million. And let's say you spent 90 million on Livramento. Let's imagine. We will have spent only 30 million more than we did in January. And now we're talking about the summer. And we're talking about this entire 90 million, by the way, coming from the Club World Cup. €100 to pounds. Pretty much the entire payment for Livramento is coming from money from the Club World Cup. So I guess let's take 5 million off this. Why not? Why not? And if you can't get him over the line, because we don't want a long saga, and it's obvious why we don't want that. We had that with Declan Rice. We had that, not Declan Rice, Paqueta, sorry. We had that with Bruno Guimaraes, and most notably, Jude Bellingham. And what does that lead to? You spend so much time trying to get a single player over the line, don't come, and at the end of the window, you go panic buy, who is it? Mateus Nunes. Then you make a panic buy, because you've wasted all your time. So I get it. But if you win the Club World Cup, I want us to make a serious bid for this guy. And if we don't get him, we don't get him. It is what it is. But we need to be willing to go in for this guy. Yeah, he's proper quality. I've said it for a long time. Before he was linked to Man City, I've always been a big defender of Livramento. I've always been one of the people that rate him highly. Don't get him, we don't get him. But I really want him. No, I don't want Munoz. He's, I believe, already in his 30s. Daniel Munoz. He's also not homegrown. Yeah, he's 29. He's 30 next season. Like, a 30-year-old, that will be good for 3 seasons. And again, he's not homegrown. I would much rather than you go for an Aina, who's a lot younger. Also, Daniel Munoz played for Genk. And I want that guy to have a dogshit career, bruv, because he's a Genk player. Former Genk player. But yeah, not homegrown. That's my biggest issue with Daniel Munoz. And again, we're 3 players short of being safe into homegrown quota, depending on who leaves and who comes in. I'm imagining we'll be 2 or 3 players short. So we need to buy homegrown players. Right back is the most obvious area in my opinion, because there's a lot of quality right backs in English football. Let's go through some of them. Or well, English homegrown right backs. Livramento, who we're supposedly in or not in for. And Aina, those are the 2 most mentioned names. But even if you don't get those 2, there's the likes of Wan-Bissaka out there. And I know a lot of people, when they hear the name Wan-Bissaka, they get a heart attack because, oh no, he's ex-Man United. Carlos Tevez was a Man United player. We don't care. If they're good, they're good. And Wan-Bissaka has been one of the players keeping West Ham straight this season. One of the few good players in that team. So, oh, he's a Man United player. So was Carlos Tevez. Nobody cares. If they're good for us, they're good for us. It is what it is. So there are good players out there in that right back spot that are homegrown. That we can go get. If we go get Munoz, I won't be upset about Munoz. But he's just not my first pick, not by a mile. I've got other players who I put in priority. All the homegrown are shit. Well, see. Please consult this. Please consult this. We need homegrown players. It's the rules. If we have too many not homegrown players and we don't have enough homegrown players, we're not allowed to play in the Premier League next season. Like that's the rules. We won't be allowed to play. They are the rules. It's not about, oh, those are the rules. There are quality right backs out there who are homegrown. Again, Aina had a great season with Nottingham Forest. There are quality right backs out there who are homegrown. And you're gonna have to overpay for them. Because that's how it goes. But if you don't, you're not allowed to play in the Premier League. Because those are the rules. Look at this, those are the rules. I get it. I get it. I would much rather have Hakimi. But there are rules that we need to follow. No, it's not easy. The ones we've got are the players everyone wants to get out. Everyone wants to get out these players. So let's see, yeah. Which website is it? I believe it's this one. It's a very good website for this. I don't. Yeah, it's this one. Okay. Jack Grealish. You want to keep Jack Grealish? £300 a week. John Stones, £250 a week. Rodri, by the way, is going to increase, so... or has that already increased? I'm not sure. Carl Walker, £175. Nathan Ake, £160. Like, these guys are not on cheap contracts. These contracts are not cheap. Alf, did you bet with bevel, and if you lose, you shave your head. No. Someone will be out there. Someone will be out there? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Steve. But no, Steve. My head is not on the line. My head is not on the line. In fact, I think my mother would murder me if I shaved my head bald. I think I would not be able to survive the next few days. You know, when you get a new game objective, survive. That will be me if I shaved my head bald. I'd be surviving for the next 5 days. Or failing to survive. So, do you want homegrown to reduce the wage bill? They're not two different conversations. They're the same conversation. If you want to reduce the wage bill, you're gonna reduce homegrown. Not two different conversations. When you are a club, you have to juggle multiple things. I agree with this. I agree with this. Absolutely. I agree. But my first option is Wick. My first option, personally, is Livramento. I think he's that good. I think he's just really good. So he's my first option. But there will be a right back out there. But yeah, these are not two different conversations, are they now? They're the same conversation. If you want to reduce the wage bill, Jack Grealish leaves. Jack Grealish is homegrown. You have to replace him with a homegrown. Like, these are the same conversations. Let's look here. Let's look at something I posted on Twitter a while ago. It's a bit outdated now, but... sorry, not this one. This one. I need to make a new one of these. I need to make a new one. If I can find it. There we go. There we go. So, currently, Man City has 19 not homegrown players. Or sorry, no. 21 not homegrown players. So it's Sherky in there as well. And with Aitnuri in there as well. So 21 not homegrown players. Maximum you're allowed to have is 17. So let's say we get rid of... I mean, Mateus Nunes. Okay, we get rid of Mateus Nunes. That's one. Akanji. That's two. Or let's say Ortega. That's three. Kovacic. That's four. And Gundogan. That's five. And let's say Silva. That's six. So you go from 21 to excuse me, for the sound, if you can hear that. So you go from 21 to 15. So now you can buy two not homegrown players, theoretically speaking. But you're gonna have homegrown players who leave, and you need a minimum of 7. So currently we have O'Reilly count. I believe he does. I believe he's 21 already. O'Reilly, Foden, Ake, Walker, Stones, Carson, of course, replaced by that Bettinelli guy. Lewis doesn't count yet. McAtee will leave. Phillips will leave. Grealish will leave. Bob counts. So we currently have 7 homegrown players, of which some of them will leave. Some of these players will leave. So it's not a matter of... It's not a matter of one or the other. It's both. Aina. Dino Livramento. I just said them. Yeah, but you need at least 7 not homegrown players as well. Silva's same, indeed. So if Silva stays, now you can only buy 1 not homegrown player. Stones, Walker, and Grealish go. Ake must stay. I agree. With those things, but again, you're short a homegrown player if you do that. I agree. But then you need to replace these guys with a homegrown player. So I agree with you. I agree with you guys on what players need to leave and what play and where we need to get strengthenings. But if we don't bring a homegrown player somewhere, then it doesn't have to be a right back. But if you're telling me, okay, this player needs to leave, Okay, fine. But where are you getting the other homegrown player? I mean, these are the rules. These are the rules, so we can't break the rules. Unlike what rival fans would suggest. Because he wants to leave. And it's pure profit on PSR. Hello, big up to Glimpse. Big up to Glimpse. Yes, but left field... What? Left field right back? What? Are you okay, Steve? A left field right back. But Pep Guardiola in chat here himself. The right back's inverting into the left side of the pitch. Hull City would kill Auckland, bro. That's an actual disgrace, isn't it? That was a disgrace. That was a disgrace. No, we're not. We're talking about everything. We're talking about everything. A transfer window is not one thing or another. It's everything. You're not building a squad based on one thing. But when you make a machine, you're not just talking about the bolts. You're not just talking about the horsepower. You're talking about everything. It's a machine. Everything in the machine has to be right. If one bolt in the machine is wrong, it doesn't matter if everything else is correct. Machine breaks down. You need to get in your homegrown, you need to reduce your wages, and you need to get your PSR up. All three of these things need to happen simultaneously. And you need to get a good squad on top of that. We're not talking about one thing or another. We're talking about all of these. They're all related, they're all connected. Why does it... What? Why does it say 9/11? Why does... Okay, so this 9 means not homegrown. So Guardiola, Ederson, Diaz, Nunez, Reinders, Rodri, Marmoush, Haaland, Savio. That is 9 not homegrown. So 9 not homegrown out of starting 11. That's what that means. It means that... it means one that we could look at... We have not mentioned. Okay, sorry, yes. I thought you meant like left field, literally. I agree. Not sure what to say to that. I agree. Utter tribe. Well, you might think so, Steve, but those are like that's how football works. Let me ask it this way. But when you're talking about homegrown. Okay, so you keep, let's say you keep McAtee because he's homegrown. And now, Pep Guardiola goes to you and he says, okay, I want the squad size of, I want a small squad. And I don't want players I'll leave on the bench. And McAtee doesn't want to play for the Man City anymore. So, okay, homegrown, it works. But now you go into the real season, into the reality of football, and now it doesn't work. So it works on the rules, but it doesn't work for the football, for the squad, for the club, for the player. So it's not utter try. It has to work for the rules, and it has to work for the player, and it has to work for the team. It has to work for everything. Again, if you have a machine, all the bolts need to work properly. If one part of the machine breaks down, the entire machine breaks down. That's how a machine works. So, well, I guess you have machines that are fail-safe, but you get the analogy. No analogy is perfect, of course. Like, you need to keep everything in mind. But look at the squads this year over half won't get game time. Look at the squads this year over half won't get game time. So this is our current squad, not including Cherki and Aitnouri. So our current squad is actually 33 players, but yeah, all of these players won't get game time. But this is players we need to get rid of. Like, we need to keep all of this in mind. We need to think about all of these players. And I agree with you. I would like Munoz. I don't mind him. But I don't think it makes sense to get Munoz. Older than all the players we're going in for. We're going for the younger generation of players. Not homegrown when we really need homegrown. And there's right backs out there, younger, arguably better, homegrown, what what may be more suited for the Pep system as well, because Munoz really played in high lines that much. And he's not played in a system where he's a back 3 into a back 4. Like, if you look at Genk, he played in a back 5 there. At Crystal Palace, he plays in a deep block. So it's completely different systems as well. So maybe I'm overcomplicating it now. Maybe that's on me, but again, I don't mind Munoz. But if we get Munoz, then you need to get homegrown elsewhere. Where do we get homegrown? A winger? I would like Morgan Rogers. I'd love Morgan Rogers. If you go get Morgan Rogers, who leaves? Because we've already got all the wingers. Doku? Savio? If you say that, that's fine. But there needs to be a rationale. All I'm saying is players are going to be benched. So why sell a homegrown because he doesn't want to be here? Man City doesn't keep players who don't want to be. I get where you're coming from, but that's just not how the club operates. And McAtee has plenty of offers out there who are plentiful. So, again, I get it. But that's not how we operate. We don't keep players against their will. Except Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva doesn't want to leave Man City, by the way. It takes every year a story about Silva leaving. Bernardo Silva wants to stay at Man City. He said as much recently as well, so we don't hold on to players that don't want to be here. We get a reasonable price for these players, we let them go. And we will get a reasonable price for McAtee. I don't know. I guess... My apologies. I guess it's just like, My apologies for the background noise. I'm not sure if you can hear that. But anyhow, I was about to end stream, so it doesn't matter anyhow. Anyhow, let's end it there. I'll redirect you guys to Liam's channel, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, I guess, because I'll be back to daily streams. I'll see you guys then.